Again, a 4K for you. Welcome everybody to the show. I know we had to take a break for a week or so, but we're back, and of course, seems like when there's no news, the next week we come back, there's tons of news. So here we are once again. Hey Valliant, how are you doing today? It says hit that like button. I agree.
Oh yeah, do hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you're not already. Hit that share button, send it out to the Twitters and the Facebooks and all your favorite social media. And leave some comments and super chats out there in the chat. We appreciate you. Thanks y'all for being here.
Absolutely. Any questions you got, we try to get to as many as we can before the show's out. But we got a loaded show today, so we're not going to waste too much time in that, right, Greg? Greg from FanZcene is here. How are you doing tonight?
Doing good. Glad to be here with you guys and back on the show. It's a good time talking physical media.
Indeed. We got some news to talk about, some rumors and more. I see we got Rancor Steve in the house. How you doing, buddy? We got Cosmic Squirrel, Duck Nation here, Picasso, KR Nut, Yeknomino, Stan Lee's here. We've got Michael Carney. We've got Coffee Lovers, so many regulars. Larry's here. Glad to see you guys here. Thank you for being here. Hit that like button, as Valliant said. So with that, let's not waste too much time. Oh, we got 4K Cinema HD as well. There you go. Nice. You're in the right place, my friend. We got Sassy Lass. I don't want to miss too many people. I'm sorry if I do. Your Muslim Uncle, Real Wade Nation Gaming Clips, and more. Thank you for being here. Cool Gamer, everybody. Thank you so much. DBCB Titan, Tripping Orc, J Roar, Neon Knight. I don't think I missed too many people. If I did, I apologize. But we do have so much to talk about. So much fun news. Greg, let's not waste any time. What do you got for? Let's start with rumors. Let's go there.
Okay. Well, I did see on the digital bits that we may get National Lampoon's Vacation on 4K. It's
that's
one of the biggest
surprising.
That I saw. So I think that's really about it. I was trying to remember all the rumors because I was reading through all the digital bits and saving it, and I can't remember it all. Yeah, but
otherwise, I think rumor-wise, let me see here. What do we have?
Because I know Vacation was one of them.
Because I remember that was one that was in the Warner Brothers trailer, and we all both, or all of us kind of figured, that's probably got it.
I mean, I guess you could say these are sort of rumors, but I think they're pretty much confirmed. But a bunch of Warner Brothers.
Ocean's 12, Ocean 11, 12, and 13 were another one that I think are a rumor.
Yeah.
We have another rumor again for the Star Trek Generations films, but that's kind of almost confirmed.
Yeah. Looks like they're all coming in December on 4K in a package and separately this time already.
That's what it sounds like. Let's see here. But I don't think there was too much more for rumor because the rest of them are actual announcements, I think. So you're right.
Yes. We did get some Kino Lorber 4Ks announced. Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels on 4K. The original 12 Angry Men on 4K. And Sudden Death, Jean-Claude Van Damme's Die Hard on 4K.
So those were some Kino titles mixed in there because one of the other Criterion we're getting.
We got a bunch of Criterion.
Oh, you said Kino, didn't you? I'm sorry. I was thinking Kino. Criterion because I was looking at one of the Criterion ones. That's where my brain went there.
Yeah. Let me get to the Criterion ones here real quick.
Might as well if you're done with those.
Yeah, that was like the big 4K from Kino.
Yeah.
So the Criterions, if I can get to my dang notes here that I saw, was Triangle of Sadness on 4K, The Seventh Seal on 4K, The Fisher King with Robin Williams and Jeff Bridges.
Jeff Bridges
on 4K, yeah. And that was it for the Criterions.
Now I'm looking forward to that one, because that one's one I think Criterion did years ago.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't had a new one since. And I think that's going to be a 4K one, right?
Yes, that's going to be 4K.
Yes, yeah, in April. So I'm looking forward to that one as well. Any of those you're looking forward to, Valliant, at all that we've mentioned so far?
Oh, let's see. I think the 12 Angry Men is the most appealing of the bunch for me. Mm-hmm. I mean, that was the one I'm thinking of with George C. Scott, right?
Yep.
I'm down with Sudden Death. I like Jean-Claude, a good bad Jean-Claude Van Damme movie.
I think I like that one.
A good bad Jean-Claude Van Damme.
I was trying to remember. I think that's one of his better ones, if I remember.
Yeah, I heard that right. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I call it. That's his Die Hard. That's his Die Hard. So plus Powers Booth gives a great.
Okay, now is that the one where it starts out like he's like a single or not a single father or divorced father, one of the two, and he's got his kid, and he's like security at this hockey game rink. Okay, yeah, it was pretty good from what I remember. Yeah,
that wasn't too bad. And yes, 12 Angry Men, the original, is great too. That's one that I'm interested in.
Yes.
Yeah. And then back to the Warner Brothers, rumored, I guess you can say these are basically confirmed for April, but Cool Hand Luke on 4K.
Yeah, that's
Maltese Falcon on 4K and Rebel Without a Cause. Sorry, Tom.
No, those are ones we've all heard of before, and I'm not surprised. Those are ones that Warner's kicking off probably with their 100th anniversary. We already got a couple of them with that label, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, anything else from Warner on that front?
No, just that and the Training Day, which we've talked about, which is coming soon.
Yeah.
There was that, and then this, I don't know if we talked about this on here, but coming from Lionsgate on Blu-ray on February 28th is Francis Ford Coppola's Betwixt, which is a redo of his movie Twixt that stars Val Kilmer and Elle Fanning and Bruce Dern.
I don't think I've ever seen that one.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen it too, but it's coming out on Blu-ray in February. And it's now called Betwixt, Now in Sunrise, the authentic cut. So,
if it's the second one, why didn't they call it By Twixt?
I don't know. It's the same movie, just reworked.
Huh. I've never seen the original either. I guess
neither have I. So
considering that's kind of news to me, but all right, interesting.
Yeah. And then Umbrella is releasing Repo Man, starring Emilio Estevez and my God, I can't think of his name. He's a great actor.
That one's one Criterion had done before.
Yes, and now Umbrella is releasing a big special collector's version of it in March with a slipcase, a stubby holder, which is a beer holder.
I don't suppose they're really redoing the sound. That movie needs a new soundtrack like you wouldn't believe.
I don't know. I don't think
it's just regular mono sound, and considering the soundtrack for that, it's like, are you fucking kidding me? You can't tell me there isn't a way to go back and upgrade the soundtrack to fix it.
Oh, maybe they will. I don't know. I don't have all the details on that yet. Just all the stuff that they're giving you with it. A comic, lobby cards, poster, keychain, stuff like that.
Usually when Umbrella does these releases, because they usually use the old scan, it means we're getting close to getting a 4K. So maybe we'll get a 4K of that one eventually here.
That'd be cool.
Maybe then they will go back and mess with the soundtrack. That'd be nice.
Yes.
Because with the music in that movie, you would think, Harry Dean Stanton,
Yeah, sorry. I just saw it. But yeah, you would think the music, that would definitely need to upgrade in the soundtrack department and stuff on the sound. But that would... I'm
not too enthused with the old one.
Coming to us from Ronin Flicks is Jet Li's The Legend 1 and 2 on Blu-ray. So there's that one. I don't think I've ever actually seen those. So here's a little interesting.
I'm trying to remember if I have or not.
Yeah, I don't. He did like a bunch of those Legend type movies. I'm not sure if there's more than 2, but yeah.
I think I may have seen the first one.
That's where he really got his fame. Before Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
But here's a Trauma release for you. Lust for Freedom coming to us on Blu-ray. Straight from them. Now, it was brought to my attention from Tim Hayes, held to Tim Hayes out in the chat, that Vinegar Syndrome had already released this. So I went and checked it, and Vinegar Syndrome had released it on DVD only and is now OOP. So this will be the first time on Blu-ray from Troma directly. So,
speaking of DVD only, I don't know if you saw that he posted this yesterday, but Paramount, for some dumb fucking reason, is releasing Beavis and Butthead, the new season, and the original movie Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe together in a DVD collection, only DVD.
Really?
Wow.
Yes.
That's sad.
Now, I heard a rumor that a Blu-ray may be down the road. But I'm like, why are you doing? Because there's already bootleg Blu-rays of Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe selling on eBay from $15 to $30.
That sounds like typical Paramount. Let's release it. And
well, they've been pretty good to this point. Like, this one is a head scratcher for me. I'm like, what the fuck? Because I got the offer. I'm surprised they haven't done Yellowstone in 4K yet, because it is available in UHD and streaming.
Mm-hmm.
But they've got them all out in Blu-ray. Pretty much every other Paramount Plus show or movie has gotten a Blu-ray release.
Well, it may have to do with the fact that NBC Peacock still has the rights to those first 4 seasons.
That could be for Yellowstone, but
for Yellowstone,
they still have released the Blu-rays of those at least. That's what I'm saying. So like all these newer Paramount shows and movies that have done, they've all gotten Blu-rays. This is the first time for some reason they're just doing it on DVD. I don't understand. And now I have kind of a reasoning for it, is I think because somebody told me that they're also releasing all 4 together, like the original first 3 volumes of Beavis and Butthead, the best of or whatever, and the revival series plus this in a box set.
Yeah.
So that might be why they're doing the DVDs first, and then down the road they told me the Blu-rays are actually going to be 2 separate releases. So they'll release the movie separate from the series. And maybe that's because we've been hearing that they are going back to supposedly remaster the original series, and maybe it's taking them longer than they thought. And maybe we'll get a nice Blu-ray set at some point. That would be nice. But fingers crossed. Otherwise,
go ahead. Sorry. I was going to say they can't defeat that double dip urge they make people do. So
Paramount's fucking worse lately, too, on
exactly. That part. And speaking of Paramount titles, coming to us from Paramount is The Core on 4K, starring Aaron Eckhart and Hilary Swank. So,
I wonder how bad that one will be scrubbed.
Yeah, that one's going to be bad. And also Red Eye, Wes Craven's Red Eye is coming from Paramount Presents. So that's going to 4K. That's going to be scrubbed probably.
Well, for the reason I'm saying this, guys, is because it's just come out. People have been starting to get their preview copies of Double Jeopardy, the Tommy Lee Jones and what's her face in that?
Ashley Judd,
yeah.
Yeah.
And as many of the other recent Paramount titles, we're hearing that it's soft as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning whatever it is they've been doing to their movies lately, they did it to this one too. And this is what I've been talking about. It's not the standard noise reduction they do. It's something else. And it makes everything look soft. You can really tell on planes, trains, and automobiles. There's a few shots on Wayne's World that are real bad. This is a little different than another 48 Hours issue, which... Again, nobody else has been able to notice but me, but I still can't understand.
Yeah. Oh, well, Flashdance is coming to 4K from Paramount as well in 2023. Probably in April.
I'm not surprised. Like. That's been on 4K and digital forever.
Yep. Which, oh, man. Just Paramount, they're just the worst. It's just like sometimes it's like they're really good, and then sometimes it's just like, why? And the thing is, like with the Death Wish, the first Death Wish that's coming from Kino, Paramount did a transfer, but I've heard that transfer is actually good, so it's better than the Blu-ray.
Yeah.
So that bodes well for that.
Stanley, here's the thing: almost everything you see now, or pretty much everything you see, has had some digital processing done to it. And then if you're watching it through a streaming service of some type, it's even had more processing done to it. But Valliant can kind of maybe explain this a little bit more. But like everything that's on film has to have some kind of... I hate using the term noise reduction, because normally if they do it right, it's not so much a noise reduction, it's a noise balance, let's say. That's a better way of putting it.
Well, so from an editing, color grading, correction, whatever you want to call it standpoint, so all the software, Adobe or Final Cut, or even if you're just doing still photography in Lightroom, there are multiple sliders that you can use in there to adjust up or down the amount of DNR, digital noise reduction, that you want to employ. There's two main kinds. There is chroma, and then there is luminance. So you can slide the fader up to increase the amount of digital noise reduction on the color side, or on the white to black, the light, the luminance side. The color DNR, like, you can go do this with any still image on Lightroom and see for yourself. When you slide that color digital noise reduction up, it has very negligible, if any, visible impact on the image itself. When you start engaging the noise reduction on the light to dark fader, that's when you have that wax impact. If you go real high, it starts looking like an oil painting. You basically strip out all the fine detail in an effort to get rid of grain or noise in the image. That's the damaging one. So there's a multitude of ways to do this. The problem is that from what I have observed, when we look at certain things like, take planes, trains, and automobiles, right? You look at that, it's like, okay, they employed a lot of luminance digital noise reduction on this for sure, because it crushed the detail out, because that's what you had to sacrifice in order to get rid of maybe some pops and some crackles and some excessive film grain. That if you master original film properly to digital, you still retain the film grain, the natural film grain, and the image still has a high amount of detail to it. I mean, we've covered a number of great examples, like Unforgiven, one of the first things I watched on my brand new TV when I got it. Looks gorgeous, and there's a lot of film grain in it, but it looks fantastic. The detail is off the scale.
Because that's 70 millimeter. That's a great example. And I just found out, I read something wrong somewhere. That actually does come from the negative. I think it was the, what's that, CinemaScope one, or whatever, that weird theater they had where they had two different kinds of, where it actually like wrapped around you. So that they would actually shoot films twice. So I guess that version's been destroyed or something like that. But anyway, moving on, like, yeah, there's some other really great examples of how they are able to retain the original detail while also toning down whatever necessary, noise there was to be toned down. Because of, like you said, and the thing with planes, trains, and automobiles is I think that didn't even come from the negative. So that's another problem. So they probably went back to an old digital file that wasn't even completely 4K to begin with, is what I think is the issue. Because when they scan these movies, they'll do a wet gate scan usually of either an inner positive, or if at best when they go back to the negative, because then you're getting as much of the original detail as possible on both color and image fronts. And in these cases, a lot of times what they're doing is they're scanning like the inner positive, and they'll do it when they did it for the old Blu-rays. When they would do it at the 2K, it was usually at like 2.5K or something like that in that region. So it was a little bit more than 2K, what we're seeing on TV normally. But then they would take those files and they'll convert that to a 4K image and run all that detailed noise reduction that Valliant's talking about. And then what ends up on the other end is shit like that, or what we got out of Terminator 2, for instance, or Predator was another one, the older version of that before they went back and fixed it. So like, yeah, and it's just one of those things, just like, the detail of the problems of Platoon was one I brought up, because they claim that's from the negative. I call bullshit. I think it's from the inner positive, and it looks like dog shit. It looks like a blew up 2K inner positive to me.
Well, they get lazy so many times these days just to be able to put out a product that has the word 4K on the cover of the box. So you go buy it, right? We didn't really do any work. We didn't actually spend the time, and more importantly, the money to do it right. But we're going to say it's 4K because we're handing you a 4K Blu-ray disc that has a final product in there, a file that is in a 4K resolution. Doesn't mean it's good.
Right. But all right, so we had a few more, I don't know if you had these on your list, but we had some Steelbook announcements. So these are movies that have already been released on 4K, but we've got John Wick, which is getting a new fancy Steelbook release, it looks like. I don't know how much availability it'll have, but also the Batman films are getting re-released with Steelbooks as well, it looks like, on 4K. So what else did you have for us here?
And that John Wick is getting a nice big box set for the first 3. So if you want to pick that up. But I would wait really because part 4 is.
That's why I'm like, why? I get it. I'm like, that drives me nuts, and I got to replace some of the copies I have because the boxes got so badly damaged. But I'm like, yeah. But there's going to be 5 movies, so I almost want to wait to get. I'm going to wait till the 5th movie comes out in a couple of years. Then I'll buy like the complete final box set of everything.
Because I already have the other versions on 4K, or the first 3.
The discs I have are fine. The boxes just got wrecked. So
in this case, I think I'll just wait. I mean, that's kind of nice looking. I'll give them that, but I am not impressed with the Batman ones though.
Yeah,
these are the final ones. Yeah. The ones I got, because I got the limited Best Buy Steelbook one. Those I like. The only downside of those is they don't come with the Blu-ray, so you have no special features whatsoever. But luckily, I have the old Blu-rays, so I have the special features still. But see if I can find it here. The art for these is horrendous.
Yeah, are these the ones from Zavvi?
I don't know if they're just Zavvi exclusives or if they're just. I think they're just re-releasing them all together. Yeah. But here you go. Here's
Zavvi did some.
It's this shadow art shit. This is basically what all of them look like, but this is just one of them. Here's Batman Forever. But yeah, it's like this weird. I don't know what the fuck you would call it.
Why do they keep feeling the need to radically alter?
Yeah, here's Batman and Robin. Yeah,
on these boxes. Give us the original poster art and just put it on a case. And I mean, sell things that are recognizable to people.
Or if you're gonna do something like that, make it worthwhile. That looks like something you get out of a Happy Meal or something, or on a really bad fucking. Like, you remember when you get folders in high school that were from movies and shit like that? That's what that reminds me of. That reminds me of a folder I would have had.
I was gonna say it looks like a free YouTube backdrop. It's like one of those license-free, Batman adjacent brand X knockoff. I mean, it looks like shit.
Horrible.
It's the bare minimum artwork.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but while we were speaking of Shout, we did get an update on because I don't think we brought this up. Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
We found out that the 4K edition. Okay, because this one reminds me a lot of what they did with Army of Darkness and pissed a lot of people off. Because when they first talked about that, they announced we were supposedly getting all those versions in 4K. Well, that's not the case, and it's not the case here with this one either. Supposedly, the first disc is the unrated cut with a new scan from the original negative of the unrated inserts from a 2K digital intermediate. So I have no idea. And then the other 2 are just Blu-rays. One's the theatrical cut, one's the unrated cut, just like the old discs we had. Just with a new scan. And frankly, they might have done a 4K scan for those last. I think they did, because this isn't even that old. The last one they released, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it says they gave it a 4K scan, but they're not even
probably the same
put
scan,
it on 4K.
And I get it. Universal's probably the culprit here for this, because they'll want to release their own version down the road. I get that, but quit double and quadruple dipping us and shit like this. Shout, this is getting really. Not only that, if you're gonna do that, just give me the theatrical cut. Fuck it, or do a branching version or something. I don't know what the hell the point of that is.
Yeah.
Because I hope that means they ain't gonna downgrade the picture of the rest of the movie to try and make it look like those. Because then what's the fucking point?
Yeah, or it's liable to be like, okay, 4K, then all of a sudden 2K, and you can probably see the difference, and it's just
in the past. Shout's been good with that.
Yeah, they usually are.
Even like with Silent Night, Deadly Night, for instance, which has like only standard edition for the insert shots. They did a pretty good job of up converting that, and you can tell when they jump to them, but especially on the newer one. But I just say give me the option to watch it both ways or whatever. I don't know. Just more people are upset about that because it feels like almost like you're kind of getting undersold something. I don't know how to explain it, but to me,
I feel that. Yeah. I think I may just stick with the Blu-ray.
I ordered it, but
yeah, I think I'm pretty good with just my Blu-ray of it. I don't think I want to upgrade to it.
I think what people are upset about Runners, I don't think it's a branching version. I think you only get that choice, which means probably because Universal wants to release a version later that will have the theatrical cut in 4K and the other version in 4K probably, or just 2K for that matter. Because they've been really poor at up converting or doing anything with some of these extended cuts.
Yeah. Which is crappy. Really is just crappy. But what can you do? I mean,
which I mean, if you got to upconvert those scenes, I don't give a shit. That's fine.
Yeah. I mean, it's like when you deal with these companies like Universal or Paramount who say, okay, we'll let to Kino or Shout, we'll let you put out a special edition of our movie, but you're only going to get to do this copy scan that we did, and so we can do a better scan later on ourselves or something. You know, it's just.
Well, and I've heard that's kind of what they do sometimes is they don't allow, they're kind of at the mercy of whatever the studio allows them to do.
Mm-hmm.
And in that respect, I understand that. But in that case, then don't like fuck us like this.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know. It feels like we're getting fucked somewhat because we're not, the other one isn't even that old.
It's true. It's true. And it would be better just not to license it back out if you just can't do the whole thing, you know. I don't know. But
well, Universal likes to do these double dips, I noticed.
Yeah. Universal and Paramount's the
But anything else you had on the news front for us?
Did we talk speaking of Shout, did we go over all the March releases that they got coming?
We might as well just start there because one of those is on the main deal anyway. So
you're going to get Crazy People with Daryl Hannah and Dudley Moore on Blu-ray. Critical Condition with Richard Pryor on Blu-ray. Dead Silence on 4K from them. And then Dr. Giggles, which I'm looking forward to, from 1992 on Blu-ray, which I think this is like one of the first Blu-rays it's ever had. So that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's only been on DVD before, I think.
Yeah. So that's I'm looking forward to picking that one up. And then another 4K upgrade is Streets of Fire is coming out on 4K, which
that one kind of surprised me.
Yeah, which surprised me because I just bought that on Blu-ray at the beginning of the year. Yeah, the Steelbook. And then Want It, starring Angelina Jolie and James McAvoy, is coming to 4K. And then that leads us to one of the titles here is Exorcist 3 on 4K.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. And here's another one I wonder how they're going to handle the versions of it. It's probably just going to be the same discs we got before, and then the movie itself will be in 4K, which is fine because that's the full version anyway. But from
what I understand, yes, that just the theatrical cut is in 4K, and it will contain Legion, but the Legion will be on Blu-ray, I think is what I read.
Yeah, it'll just be the same discs we got before, I bet.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and I think that was about it for the Shout. I think I got one over everything almost.
Well, we got that special announcement from Tom Holland, not Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah. Not Spider-Man Tom Holland. The actual director, the cool director, Tom Holland.
Other guy.
Yeah.
The other guy.
Looks like Fright Night Part 2 is coming to Blu-ray through Cinema Museum, which is a foreign company at the moment, which is interesting because we've just been talking about this here lately. And Tom, you just bought the bootleg, I believe.
Well, they were trying to say it wasn't a bootleg, and I'm like, this is a fucking bootleg. But yeah, so Fright Night Part 2 has been one of those movies that's notoriously been unavailable for a long time. They did get a Lionsgate release on DVD. Now, I'm not even 100% sure if that was just meant for Canada and it leaked into the US as well, or if it was a legit release. But there's a bit of a history to this film, isn't there, Greg, you were telling me about?
Yes. One of the main reasons that you have not been able to find Fright Night Part 2 in America on any form of physical media upgraded-wise is because of the Menendez brothers, because their father was he an executive producer or producer on the film, and poor old Roddy McDowell, who's having a career comeback with the first one, apparently got into a big argument with him one day, and everybody on the set really hated the Menendez father. And once he found he got killed during the end of the making of the movie by his sons, and they actually brought in Roddy McDowell and interviewed him for the murder because the argument they had. And Roddy McDowell afterwards called up somebody from the set, said, well, did you do it? And because they all hated the guy, so like that murder really put a kibosh on this film, put a stain on it. And it was that's one of the main reasons why it's been so hard to get a physical copy of this in America release. But this bodes good news, I believe. Tom Holland's involved. He's working with Cinema Museum for this, and he's getting it out there. So I would feel like a U.S. release may be coming down the line. So fingers crossed.
Well, I think that's the big point of contention, isn't it? It's like, I don't know how they can profit from them since they're in prison, but
yeah,
like, isn't that like the whole deal? Like they get the money from it or some shit like that, or they have to
like
be
that,
part
like,
of the deal or something like that. I can't remember because
yeah,
they got because of their father's interest in it or whatever.
Yeah, because like they get his like estate or whatever.
Yeah.
So
like
I know. I don't know how the will would work considering they murdered him. So
I just say I don't know how this works out, but like outside of the U.S., it's been a little easier to get the rights cleared up, but inside the U.S., not so much. Have you ever seen this one, Valiant? I know you're a fan of the first one.
I've got the first one on 4K. It's a beautiful transfer. The second one, I'm sure I have. I'm struggling right now to remember the plot. It's been so freaking long.
Pretty simple. Charlie is convinced by a therapist that the first movie was just the events were the vampire parts of it were more or less made
all
up in his mind.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, and then the sister of Chris Sarandon's character shows up and starts to seduce him, kind of like she seduced her. What's her face in the first movie?
Was there Amy? It was Amy, right?
Amy, yeah, and so it's kind of like a reversal on that part, and he's kind of the one who's slowly becoming a vampire this time, but it's kind of an interesting twist. I kind of liked it. It's one of those popular sequels. It was a bit more popular on video than it was on theaters, but yeah.
Well, hopefully they do as good a job on this second one with the remastering and the transfer to the medium as they did the first one. I mean that's the key thing.
Questionable, because I think the budget of this one was probably like half of the original, and it's a totally different company that made it. Like that's the other thing. So like it's hard to say what shade. Like the version I have though, that I imported does look pretty good. Like it's a decent HD transfer, so it's been transferred in HD at least.
Yeah.
But I believe that's the same master that Lionsgate used was all. But we're gonna be losing you here soon, Valiant. So I really want to get your take on the main title of today because we heard that Universal is prepping Jaws 2.
Yeah.
For a release, which I'm kind of excited about.
Yep. I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully, just as I said with Fright Night. Hopefully they are going to be doing as good a job as they did with the first. And the first one, especially for a film transfer of something that was shot in the mid to early 1970s, hopefully that was, I mean, that is reference grade, that disc.
There's a great making of on that disc of how they put the movie back together because it was in shambles.
Yeah, and hopefully they won't have to do as much work for the second. But if they do, I'm hoping that they will do it. And this is great. Come out with one of these every year or two. Whether or not they do Jaws 3 and 4, that's to be determined. I
highly
guess.
doubt it.
I kind of doubt it too. Renegade Jr. will be very disappointed because his favorite is
3.
His favorite is Jaws 3.
I like 3 to a point, but like, here's the thing with 3. We already got the polarized 3D version, which we were lucky to have gotten that, right?
Yeah.
The standard version looks so shitty. I don't know if a 4K version would do anything for it. Like it would probably just make it look worse.
No,
and Jaws Revenge, not enough people give a shit about. So.
Yeah, no. I mean, Jaws 2 was. I mean, nothing will ever top the first one, right? But Jaws 2, I think, was. It was a worthy follow-up, and as you so poignantly noted before, I think earlier today on Midnight's Edge in the morning, the first movie that ever had a number 2 in the title as a sequel. So Jaws 2.
Because you had Godfather Part 2 before that, but it was Roman numerals and all that. It
was part Roman numeral 2. This was actually Jaws 2, the number
just
2.
Blank 2.
Right, that's it. I mean, everybody's like, "You gonna call it what? Just Jaws 2?" Yeah, well, it worked. So.
Well, and people were afraid that they were going to be confused. They're like, does that mean there's going to be 2 sharks or?
Let them think there's 2 sharks this time. Who cares? They went to go buy tickets.
Well, I like Jaws too. It's kind of like it is definitely one of the best of those B-rated disaster monster attack movies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not the first movie. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even fucking try to be the first movie. It's like, no, we're not even going to try. Because any other time you would have been like, oh, we're going to get everybody back together. And I think they tried that at first because they called,
with Jaws 2. Well, I mean,
yeah.
you still had Roy Schneider. And I mean,
he barely even made it into the movie.
Well, yeah, but I mean, at least he was there because that was what had held the movie together, was having him back. And okay, we got the story of, well, the shark had a mate. Okay, I mean, that kind of works. And
I think that's just in the novel, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, I think they even mentioned something to that in the movie. But yeah, I mean, Richard Dreyfuss wasn't going to come back, and
oh fuck no.
No. So, but I mean, look, they electrocute him at the end instead of blowing him up, or is that one right?
I liked it. I do, yeah. Like, because
so,
I like that Carl Gottlieb came up with the idea. Is like, the cruising culture in California was big at the time. So he's like, and surfing culture was too. So he kind of imagined, okay, if you were in a boating community, you would have the kids cruising in their little, dinghies and other boats and stuff and sailboats and stuff around the harbor and shit. Yeah. And I like that idea because it is. It's like, if you were in a harbor
with Jaws. Yeah.
With Jaws. Yeah. It's basically American Graffiti with a shark. You're not wrong.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's
it. It is.
And the kids are great. That's the beauty of it, is they work on such a level, because I have a feeling that a lot of movies, because, Friday the 13th is they say, oh, it's ripped off Halloween and all these other movies. Do you know how much I actually would trace back to Jaws 2 for a lot of those movies in the 80s, where you have the teens, like the way that the group is put together. You have the different little cliques and the different teens and their types of teens. And this movie was the first time I really felt like we had that. This feels like the prototypical Friday the 13th teenage group in this movie compared to Halloween, which was the babysitters.
Yeah.
This was the first time I felt like we had a group of teenagers. They were out on their own, facing, man versus nature kind of thing. And I dug that part of the story. And of course you have the other side of it, which is Roy Scheider losing his job because nobody wants to fucking believe him.
Right.
Which is a great also, play on the original film too. So as a sequel, I feel like Jaws 2 is underrated. And it's not talked about nearly enough, and I hope they do this Blu-ray justice, because the original Blu-ray is fine, but it could really use a nice upgrade, like you said. Yeah. Hopefully it gets the attention that the first film got. A nice Dolby Atmos upgrade would be nice too. It's only been in mono since forever, so. Yeah. But Valliant. So I know you got a run here. So anything else to say before you go?
No, just good to be here. Good to see everybody. Sorry I have to dip out a little early today. Something unexpected came up. But hang around to the show. Almost 200 people watching right now. We've got 100 likes. So certainly we can get more likes than that. Big help on the YouTube algorithm. I can't even talk. The YouTube algorithms. I have 4 hours of sleep in me after that video. I was up till 2 a.m. finishing that video that I put out this morning at 10 a.m. with the whole Iger and Nelson Peltz thing going on at Disney's. I'm whooped so bad, but I got to get in the car and go run around for the next 2 hours, picking up, dropping off, picking up kids. So have fun, y'all. I'll be listening in the car. Take care. Good to see everybody out there.
Yeah. Check out Valiant's channel, of course.
And go smash the like button, damn it.
Yes, sir.
And Cannon Faladero sent us a super sticker. Thank you so very much for that, Cannon. We appreciate that. Let me see if the mods grabbed what it was, because I didn't happen to see what it was. Thumbs up. Was it thumbs up?
Yep.
Awesome sauce. Thank you for that. And with that, was there anything else that we missed or you watched this week that you wanted to discuss real quick or anything?
Well, there was one more title which was not important. It was like LA Wars is coming from MVD, but it's back to Blu-ray. But that was it. I watched. Believe it or not, which we'll talk about it tonight. Since it had been brought up a couple times on the Physical Media Show, I watched No Holds Barred again.
Oh, nice!
It was like the first time I've watched it in probably a good 10 years, and I was surprised at some of the crap that they got away with that in that movie, considering that it's sort of meant to be like for young kids, teenagers.
We weren't wusses back then, Greg.
Yeah, I know. It's like you watch something like that and you go, man, I remember watching this movie when I was like 10 years old and just having a ball with it. And I'm watching it now and I'm like, you can't get away with half of this stuff that's in this movie nowadays. So, I wish I would have got the Blu-ray when it came out, because the Blu-ray is OOP and it costs a lot of money. But I do have the DVD and I watched it and I was like, I loved it. I loved every minute of it. It was just a fun, cheesy Hulk Hogan bad movie. So
yeah, I didn't get to watch any new stuff this week. I got some older stuff that we're going to talk about on the show.
Most of my stuff was older. Well, sort of older stuff, but
I did watch a movie about a killer doll, a girl doll.
Did you watch Megan?
No, I saw a movie called Dolly Dearest.
Oh, Dolly Dearest. I thought it was Megan.
So we'll talk about that. Yeah, I know. I've been thinking about, I'm like, I would love to do like a review of that, but like, how do you trick a bunch of people into thinking it's a Megan review when it's actually a review for that without lying to everybody on the thumbnail and all that shit?
How would you do that? The best female killer doll movie you've ever seen.
Yeah, you start out the review as like, I've seen this new killer doll movie about this little girl who gets a brand new doll and it's a killer and blah, 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 blah. No, I'm not talking about Megan. I'm talking about Dolly Dearest, you know. Like, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I don't think I've seen that one, so.
Oh, yeah, it came out a couple years after Child's Play, and it has Denise Richards in it.
Ooh.
Yeah. And it wasn't too bad. It's probably one of the better Child's Play ripoffs, to be honest with you. But
that's what I'm afraid
this tonight. Yeah,
that's what I'm afraid this Megan is. From what I've like heard about, is like I'm like, so it's just Child's Play with a female doll.
Well, here's the catch:
kind of taking the story from the remake, right?
I was gonna say it's more like the remake, but they do what a lot of people like myself agreed with, and that was that you should have just done your own thing, because everything that's wrong with the movie is Child's Play. Everything that's right with the movie isn't. And I was kind of excited when I heard about that, because I was like, yeah, that's pretty much what I said they should have done in the first place. Yeah. And just make it its own fucking thing. And now it is. And now it's popular, and it made more money in like one weekend than the whole Child's Play remake did in its entire run, I think. So like, in that sense, who gives a shit in that part? But I want to see it. I haven't seen it yet. I've heard good things about it, but so.
Well, I heard you might get a gorier cut of the film when it comes out on physical, because apparently there was a lot of gore cut out of the movie for to get to the theater. So, but
yeah.
But I'm looking forward to hearing about Dolly Dearest tonight, and tune in to hear about No Holds Barred as well. And I watched a couple other things, but I figured I don't know what else to say.
Six just sent me this, but evidently for the 100th anniversary of Disney, we're getting some Steelbooks.
Oh,
looks like here, and some slip covers with collectible pins at Walmart for those interested. So there you go. There's a look at those. There you are.
Well, they kind of look like the Steelbooks kind of look like the old school Disney collector things.
Yeah.
But I don't really want none of those movies. So
yeah, most of my if I want them, I already have them, and otherwise I don't.
Yeah.
So with that, I think we're gonna wrap things up tonight, because we had a tight schedule tonight with Megan 2 is already announced. Cool. See, I'm not surprised.
Oh yeah,
no, it's a Blumhouse deal. Yep.
You gotta give it to Blumhouse. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of everything he puts out, but the man knows how to make a movie and make money. I mean, like nonstop.
Absolutely, can't take that away from him. But
nope.
So with that, folks, I think we're going to wrap the show up for now. Thank God we will be back here in a couple hours with Greg. Get over there and we will talk some more movies.
Yes,
I want to talk more movies because I saw some other movies too that I want to talk about. So
me too.
You know what else I've been watching? Yellowstone. Have you seen that yet?
I've not really got into it yet, but I've heard really great things about it. So
oh my God, it's fucking addicting.
Is it good?
It is good.
I love, like I said, I've seen
1883 is really good too. Yeah, and I've been watching 1883 on top of it. And yes, Dr. Coffin Nails. It will actually. I got to set the link up for that. I never did. So I'll just throw it in the link here right now because we're a couple hours out.
I've got to get on Yellowstone because I really enjoy Taylor Sheridan. Like I said, my favorite two movies he's done is Wind River with Jeremy Renner and what is that one with Chris Pine and Jeff Bridges? I can't think of the name.
Not Hell or High Water. That's
Hell or High Water. That's what it is.
Is that the one?
Yeah, Hell or High Water and Wind River.
What's the other one they did too? I thought there was another one.
He did Sicario, Hell or High Water, Wind River.
Yeah.
There's one more in there, but I can't. Yeah,
I know. I'm trying to think of it Because isn't Jeff Bridges in that one too? The other one I'm thinking of? Or am
I don't know. Maybe. I know Wind River is the one that's his first directorial movie. The other ones he wrote. So,
yeah, and I almost watched Hell or High Water the other night because I'm like, I kind of.
Have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
Oh my God, it's so good.
That's what I heard.
It is really good. I was surprised
I can see
the
now
first time
why.
I watched it.
Because like even Sicario is like just on a surface level. I'm like, yeah, it looks like everything else. Those kind of movies.
Yeah.
But no, after seeing all of his shows like Tulsa King and this stuff now, I'm like hooked. So
yeah,
I'll definitely have to check that out.
He's got some skills. I'm glad he's picking up because I remember, like we talked about before, I remember seeing him on the motorcycle. I'm drawing a blank all of a sudden. Sons of Anarchy. He was the Sons of Anarchy,
I couldn't even remember.
And they just misused him, and so he just left and created his own stuff, and it's 100 times better. So,
technically, Camelbot, I did. Andre has it in his possession. He ripped it, and I've seen some of those videos, so I can say it looks beautiful. It's definitely worth it if you could get your hands on it, but it's been hard to come by. And be careful on eBay because people are selling the old sets. They did an old Blu-ray set that was standard definition, so do keep that in mind when you're shopping for this because it has been hard to come by. So with that, as Andre likes to say,
with that, some more Sean Connery.
For the end of the show. So do join us later on in about, 90 minutes?
Yeah, 9:30 my time, 8:30 your time.
Oh, yeah, because I remember it. I'm going to be on with Floral and those guys over on Floral's show just before yours. So do check into that, guys, and then I'll be heading over to Physical Media. So there you go. Catch you guys there. All right, take care, everybody.
Peace.
Do 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 do.